When people say that the world is your oyster and that there are limited possibilities, it's meant to inspire optimism, but the sheer amount of possibilities can often make us feel a little bit lost. Some of us want to give everything a try. We have the enthusiasm to put it all together, but we just don't know where to put it. And there are those who know that they're meant for something different, but it would mean that they're the first to choose a different path. This week we're talking to those of us who don't know where we want to go. Those who are paralyzed by possibilities, and those who can feel that their path means going a different one to everyone around them. Stick around as we offer some clarity and direction when everything else begins to feel a little bit uncertain. I'm Sam, your host of the Airing It Out podcast. Thank you for joining us today. And this episode might not be for everybody, but everybody else is welcome to stick around. Thank you for being here, and let's get into the episode. Okay, you know the drills: likes, comments, favourites, subscribes, rates, shares, whatever it is. Please, if you can and you enjoy and support what we're doing, let us know in some way or another, because that is what's going to make the difference to us more than you can imagine. Thank you. Moving forward swiftly. Our goal here isn't to provide you the answers to life's great big questions, because ultimately that's got to come from you. But what we can do is we can offer you a place to start and some tools to help you along the way. I know all too well what this feeling feels like, but we'll get into that a bit later. But I found out in my research and by talking to people that a lot of others do too. And in fact, it was somebody else who I spoke to who gave inspiration for this idea. This episode, I mean. So if you're one of those who do feel this way, then what are some of the things that we can do? And the number one thing that we're going to start with when you don't know where you're going or which direction you want your life to take is to work on yourself. Instead of looking forward and feeling lacking, what we can do is we can start developing ourselves as individuals. Much like when we talk about being single, instead of waiting for that right person to come around, what we can do is we can develop and build ourselves as an individual so that we're ready when they do. And it works in terms of purpose and direction. Instead of looking, hoping, searching and wondering where this purpose and direction is, what we can do is we can build and work on ourselves and know what it is that we like, what we value, what we enjoy and what we want. And then maybe the opportunity comes. Okay, how do we do this? Let's break it down. The first stage is to explore your passions and try new ones. Your passions are the things that you love to do. They could be anything. They could be varnishing tables. Don't know, probably someone out there, bless you, is really passionate about, he's going to do it again. He's not doing it. You could be passionate about varnishing tables, whatever it is. Football, rugby, cricket, no, I'm just naming sports. Irrelevant. Whatever it is, do that. Explore that. You love this and you love it for reasons. Okay, why do you love it? What reasons are there? Is there somewhere you can do something more than just participate in this thing that you love? Explore it. Be creative. Think broadly about your passions and where you might be able to apply yourself more or in a different way. But also don't be afraid to experiment with new passions. Try things. Look at different things, go to different clubs, try different sports, try a different creative endeavour or hobby. The point is, when you do these things, you're opening up more opportunities. If it's something that you love, you might open up an opportunity that was never there before. If it's something that you don't know that you love, but you end up doing it, oh my God, you've just found another passion. What a new lease on life. So explore your passions. Another valuable thing, which I recommend doing to anyone, but particularly in this instance, is understand what your values as an individual are. Or in other words, how do you define yourself? What are the things that you stand by? What's really important to you? What is, when you strip everything down, not just your clothes, don't be inappropriate, what are you left with? What are you left with? Those are your values. And that is a foundation that you can then work off of in terms of the context of finding purpose and direction. The next thing is going to be reflect on your strengths. What are you good at? What is the value that you contribute as well? So we know our values now, but what is the value that you contribute? What do you bring to the table? What is the thing that you're recognised for when people mention your name? Have another list of those things. And that's personally, socially, professionally. Think broadly about the things that you're good at and keep a note of them. We're building up a little list of ammunition here, in case you hadn't noticed. And now we're also going to look at what piques your curiosity. What do you look at and think, oh, actually, you know what? I could really see myself enjoying that, or I really want to know what that's like. It could be a skill, it could be some kind of education, it could be some kind of book. There are books, turns out, on a bunch of stuff, okay? Likelihood is there's a book on the thing that you're curious about. So go read it, go try something, go to a new club. What classes are on? What could you do in your spare time? What films are there? What art is there that you could explore? What piques your curiosity? And we also want to experiment, like with all these different things. So many of them involve trying new things. Experiment, try something different. You could do a different experiment day to day. It might not help give you accurate results, but that's not the point. We experiment with the podcast all the time. Every week we're trying something a little bit different, whether it's titles or thumbnails or descriptions or how we film the episode, and we're seeing what works. But in experimenting, we not only see what works, but we also learn the valuable lesson of what doesn't work. And when you're stuck and confused, actually, this is completely off-piste. In Green Lights, the book by Matthew McConaughey, he says, okay, well, if you don't know what you are, a good place to start is by finding out what you're not. What are you not? What are you most certainly, definitely, positively, 100% not? And it sounds counterproductive because we're looking at what we want to be, but by eliminating everything else, you then got a whole lot more room and capacity for what you are. So, an additional thing, make a list of the things that you are not. So by this point, we've created numerous lists of amazing, helpful and productive things about us as individuals that we can either act upon or reflect upon, and that can help us inform our next step or open an opportunity in something that we enjoy doing. But what we're going to do to round off this section is set meaningful goals. Now, I've left this towards the end. That could have been number one, sure. But now that we've accumulated all this valuable information about you, a valuable person, that is what is going to inform these meaningful goals, because you have just created a list of meaning, a list of meaningful you. It's got a bit of a ring to it. But then act upon them. Keep it simple, keep it short, keep it meaningful. Set meaningful goals that are informed by all the meaning that you've just collated. Moving on to section number 2. Short, sweet, punchy, impactful. Begging my pardon. There are 2 things that we need to do for this, and they're defining, okay? Getting to the base, understanding our personal definitions. What is our personal definition of success? Okay, what does success mean to you? Because it doesn't mean the same as it does to me. Who we are and where we've come from and what we believe in define our individual definitions of success. So yours isn't going to be the same as mine, and you can't base yours off of mine, vice versa. So you need to know for yourself what success looks like. If you're searching for success in what you're doing, how do you know when you've got it? How do you know what it looks like? How will you be able to recognize it? And our second one is purpose. What does purpose mean to you? We want purpose, definition, success, whatever it is. We're feeling lost, we're feeling ambiguous. Okay, well, we've got the word, but what does that mean? What does purpose mean to us? What does waking up with that sense of fulfillment look like to you? Because we can't compare it to anyone else's, because everyone else's is different. What is your definition of success? And what is your definition of purpose? Incredibly valuable things to know. So the third section, we're going to be conscious of where this feeling for purpose and need comes from. What is the urgency? Because something that I've recognised recently is that mine come from an internal pressure that I'm putting on myself, but also an external pressure that I feel from other people. And understanding that has helped me redefine where I want to put my efforts and how I'm motivated towards changing things. Because don't get me wrong, I'm happy and positively motivated to make changes in my life, but beforehand I might have been acting more so out of external pressure, which then became a pressure I was putting myself under. Because it's all well and good creating these results for yourself and giving yourself what you need, but if you're only doing it to please other people, or you're doing it because you feel like you should, then maybe be conscious and take some time to understand that. And our fourth section, the fourth bit, is be patient. Don't force this. You can't force the rest of your life, and it's not going to come any faster than the clock does tick. Does that make sense? Maybe you need the uncertainty, and I know that sounds weird, but my point is, maybe at this current moment in time, the uncertainty that you're feeling has its purpose. Maybe it is through this uncertainty that you'll find an answer, or at least you might find the first step towards the answer that you want. I used to be criminal for this. After uni, I was like, okay, my life is not where I want it to be, therefore we're going to work ourselves to the bone until it is. And I was doing far too much, trying to accumulate a result, and I was putting myself under tremendous pressure every day, feeling as though I have to do this. I have to not only justify my existence, but I have to produce a result. I have to produce my future. And I was giving up every single day. I was sacrificing enjoyment, pleasure and fun, socialising with my mates, being with my family, being present, because I felt like I had to. I felt like I have to produce something, and I was forcing it. And do you know how much I learnt and how much I actually produced? A whole lot of nothing. The only things that I produced were some incredibly hard learned lessons, and those are lessons that I lead with now. Now I'm more self-compassionate. Now I give myself more patience and more grace, and I understand that if it's meant to be, it probably isn't going to come overnight, and I have to have that strength in patience to allow it to happen when it needs to. I'll do my bit, sure, I'll do my bit, but I can't do any more than that, and I can't do my bit all the time. I've got to take time as well. So I just wanted to highlight some of the contrasts and why it's important, particularly something which probably means a lot to you. Don't force it, and have patience. So I mentioned earlier that I have a perspective in this. Over the past few years, I've felt very lost and not sure what I want to do. I've got a lot of potential, and I know that I can contribute a lot to somewhere, anywhere that I put myself. That's not being arrogant. I'm not trying to be cocky, but I know that I have skills, and I know that I can contribute positively to somewhere wherever I put myself. But that doesn't help me understand where I want to. Like, I've got a lot to give, but that only kind of makes me not want to give it to somewhere that doesn't appreciate me more. And I've been, the past couple workplaces that I've been in, I've got a history, a mental thingy with work because of bad, very toxic work environments that I've been in. But it makes work difficult for me mentally. And the past 2 jobs that I've had, I've not been valued. And I know it's something that I'm working on now, but I've not been valued, not been appreciated, and I ultimately got laid off. So my self-value and self-worth is challenged. But what that means is that I'm less, how do you say, flippant about giving my time, attention and value, because I'm sure I'm probably a bit insecure of having it knocked, having my confidence knocked. But I know that I can give a lot, but I don't want to have my potential underutilized. I don't want to be underappreciated, and it makes it hard for me to commit to doing that if I know that I'm not going to be appreciated and I also feel like it kind of defies, maybe defies isn't the right word, but it's like an injustice to my purpose being here if I'm giving my time doing something that doesn't mean much. Because I have the podcast. I love the podcast, and I know that it is what I'm meant to do. Mental health is where I'm passionate, it's where I've got experience, and it's where I want to work, and I feel like this is where I'm meant to be. This is where I believe. I have that belief. But at the moment, it doesn't pay the bills. I don't think we're near the point at which it will. And a hard pill that I've had to swallow is that it probably won't for a couple years, maybe even a few years. There's no telling how long this will take. And it's very daunting not knowing how long it will take, knowing that there is a great amount of time in between now and then. I want to apply myself. I'm getting to that point in my life where I'm done with like little bitty jobs where I'm not looked after and I'm not cared about and I'm easily replaceable and I'm a cog in someone's machine. I want to do something that has meaning, and I know that I can't have my cake and eat it because I'm doing something meaningful here, but I'm just not getting paid for it. But it makes things very ambiguous and very scary, and yeah, it's difficult. And since the start of my struggles with my mental health and how far I've managed to come from that almost point of nothingness, I've learnt that my goal in life, my purpose is to see what I can do to reach the maximum of my potential and see how far I can go with the things that matter to me the most. And I am speaking to the people who relate to this when I say this, and this is difficult for me to say because of how against the grain it goes. But to me, the idea of working a 9 to 5 for 30 years is terrifying. I know that rubs people the wrong way, or some people might balk at it, but that's my reality, and I'm not sorry about it. And I'm not sorry about it because I'm trying to tell you how lonely that means that this feels. That uncertainty of not knowing, the lack of regular income and security. Sure, I'm doing my dream, but I don't know if and when I'll get compensated for it financially or be able to sustain myself financially. And I don't mean to discredit anybody that works a 9 to 5. If you've got what you've got and you enjoy it, power to you. But I know that I'm not meant to live somebody else's dream. And I know that people can relate, and I'm telling myself out there that people can relate to this because it is hard to say, it's hard to admit. Part of the reason why it's hard to admit for me is that particularly in my home life, my family don't understand. My parents both joined the services from when they were before 20, 30 years, right the way through. And my brother, straight out of college, 9 to 5, he's been doing that since. And I know that the wider of my family have also been very similar. And here I am, wanting to do something creative with my life, wanting to live my own dream and work towards it and bring it into fruition. And here I am day to day working at it, but they don't understand. they don't see, and some of my immediate family haven't even seen the podcast, and I've resigned to the fact that I can't make them understand what it is that I'm doing, and I can't make them understand why I'm doing it. And that's another bitter pill to swallow. But I strongly believe that to conform to what they want from me, they want security for me. They want some kind of financial stability, because that means I'm moving progressively with the traditional idea of what a life should be. They want me safe, they want me secure, they want me stable. And they at times say as much, but I know that that's only their fears being reflected onto me. Their own insecurities are being reflected onto me. And this goes out to those of you who are in this situation and who might be feeling this particular pressure. Conforming against your dream, doing what makes other people happy rather than doing the thing that makes you happy, is what will kill your soul. That is the denial of your life essence itself, and you will regret that for the rest of your life. You might for whatever reason, but if you have the opportunity, do what you know you need to do. There's a quote from Steve Jobs. It says, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life." And that quote echoes in my mind because it's true and I believe it, but it also haunts me, almost as a threat, that at any moment I could give in to the pressure, I could give in to the expectations, and I could give in to what everyone else wants from me to make everyone else happy. But I know that as soon as I do, I betray my life essence. I betray what I'm meant for. And it might not work. This might not work out. But I can't fathom, it would be such a betrayal to not find out, to not know. Oh, goodness gracious. This could take years to work out. It might not ever. But I owe it to myself to try. And it's just very daunting. Particularly with the pressure that I put myself under and the pressure that I feel from other people. I hope this resonates with a couple of you. That was me speaking about my point. It is incredibly difficult for me to talk about. It's something that I've tried articulating to other people, particularly creative people, because I realise that I don't have many of them in my surrounding family, and they kind of understand what it's like. But to put this out to the public, particularly if my family might listen to this, and saying something which is so against the tradition of normal society, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I don't mean to. I'm just trying to be honest. I'm trying to be truthful to myself. But sometimes speaking your truth is hard. Don't lose faith. Don't lose faith in what you believe in, and keep fighting for it. So to round off and end on a positive note, we're going to look at the takeaways for this episode. It's okay not to know. Maybe what you need right now is to just be you. Maybe what you need right now is to just be. If you're stuck, work on yourself and learn who you are. Conformity kills what you believe in. Honour what you believe in. This has been the Airing It Out podcast. Difficult, at least from where I'm sat. Thank you for listening. I hope that even if you don't understand, you've given me the opportunity to speak and you've listened. So thank you for that, particularly if you're here now. We appreciate it, or I at least personally appreciate it a lot. I hope there are those of you who are out there that resonate with this. I hope you find peace, understanding, and some kind of direction from our video. Hope it's been valuable, and we hope to see you next week. Take care. Bye.